Hi, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming from today, and also like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I'm Flynn Tracy, and I'm here with the fantastic Bianca Beers, illustrator and artist and creator from Sydney. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's a nice sunny day in the background. I can see it through your window. It's very nice. I can see it
It
through
looks
my new window
stunning.
here too.
Oh yeah, you moved. How
I
is
have
it? New
moved.
place?
Yeah, it's great. I've got to set up like my background a little bit better. I'm so used to just
Yeah.
having a green screen. Um,
I
but I've
was
just
thinking that. Little monkey beanie. Very cute. And
it's a
what's that? A
Mailchimp.
ukulele?
Yeah, that's a ukulele. It won't be premiering my ukulele skills
Oh,
today. We're going to focus on you. But yeah, and that's a Mailchimp monkey that I got from when we were doing creative mornings. I love it.
oh,
It's
gorgeous.
cute, but I'm gonna have to bring out the knickknacks at some point to make a more interesting background. But hey, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. So Bianca Beers, illustrator, artist. For those who aren't familiar with your work, can you give us a
Mhm.
quick little elevator pitch? Who you are, what makes Bianca tick?
Cool. I am, I guess, mainly a digital artist, designer, and creator. So I also do like content creation for brands and whatnot, as well as art and installations and murals and stuff like that. Um, I love bright and colorful. I love anything that lifts the mood, makes you feel good. And that's about it, really. It's not that deep.
I'm gonna put some music on. Let's see how we go with this.
Cool.
There we go. Let's add some ambience to this. Um, yeah, cool. Well, maybe we could check out some visually. We'll check out some of your work
Yeah,
if
cool.
you want to check it out.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't updated my website in a while, so I'm just gonna take us over to my IG, which is
let's do
Bianca
it.
Beers at Bianca Beers. I might show you this thing I did for the Iconic recently. Do
Oh,
you know
cool.
the clothing, the online clothing
Do I know it?
house?
My house is
Yeah.
filled with bags that need to be returned and empty bags of iconic stuff because my wife loves
Ugh.
just buying stuff from
Shopping.
there. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
such
very
an easy.
familiar with the iconic.
So they reached out to me and my partner and asked us to model, I guess, for their new campaign with Sneaker Hub, and then they
Cool.
asked me to illustrate over it as well, which was really fun. So I'm gonna just this is a kind of sliding little thing that we did for the campaign, which is
Cool.
so fun. So I just illustrated both of us from like some of the photos that they selected and then created a kind of like scrapbook situation with little decorative details as well. That's my star sign. I'm a Sagittarius and he is a Libra, and I put it in as well somewhere. Here we go.
Is that
There
a
it
good
is.
is that a good combination?
It's one of the best
One of the
actually.
best.
So there's that, which I was really happy about. I also created an animation of it for their website banner, which
Oh,
I think is
nice.
still on the website. So like, and it has a shop the edit thing. So they had that, like on the top of the website, they'll have like a banner and they'll say you can click
Yeah.
into that to buy the pieces that are featured, which is kind of cool. What else? I can't release yet, but it's a work in progress for a crypto company. So I'm not going to say who they are, but basically, they are selling their coins, and for everyone that purchases a certain amount, they get a free customized NFT. So there'll be different
Right.
rarities and like different colorways and stuff, ones that I've designed. What else? Oh, I illustrated a book, my friend's book. That happened in January earlier this year. I'll see if I can. It might be a little bit R-rated, but it's basically about her dating life in New York. So we illustrated some of the stories. This this
That's
was
great.
obviously about a guy and his budgie smugglers. um, and then like this was the preliminary rough ideas for the cover before we went with something like this.
Cool.
Um, that's just me opening something. Who cares? And I feel like that's all I have to show right now. I have a few cool projects coming up, but I can't speak on them yet. But
Cool.
today we are doing some animated GIF stickers for Instagram. You know how when you pop onto a
Yeah.
story, you can like add stickers. So I'll give you a little preview of ones I've made before. They obviously don't look
awesome.
so much. So I did the star signs, obviously, of course. And then this one I think was for Rimmel or something, and then just little design ones. And that's
so this
all
is
I've
like
got
your
today.
Giphy account, right? So you create
exactly.
the GIFs, add them to Giphy, and then Giphy is integrated with Instagram, and so that's how you can create your own kind of GIFs, and you can search. How do you search for them? Do you search for Bianca Beers or?
So what you do is for each one you add hashtags. So
Cool.
like funky, retro, girl power. I did these for what's it called? Pride, like a couple years ago. So I also had like gay and what other things? LGBT, things like that. But yeah, whatever it's related to, you just add. So for this one, it'd be star signs, Sagittarius, astrology, zodiac. And that's how people find them. But as a creator, I think it's important as well to put your name in there, which I'm pretty sure I did. Bianca Beers. So I always do that, and then that way, if I'm looking for my own stickers when I'm posting, I just type in Bianca Beers, and all of my GIFs come up. I am so tired. I went to a concert last night. My boyfriend surprised me with tickets to one of my favorite bands, and I was like, oh God, I didn't plan for this, but okay, let's go. So yeah, apologies for the red eyes and the dopiness today.
It's all right. It's all good. You're killing it. You're killing it.
Cool. So just jumping into Photoshop, create a little blank canvas. I think you're meant to create for GIFs kind of smaller pixel canvases, but I basically start out with 1000 by 1000 pixels, and they always seem to upload fine. That's just what I'm comfortable with because I like having smooth lines and not super like pixelated rough edges. So I've got our blank canvas. I've sketched up something this morning. This is actually for a client, so I'm killing two birds with one stone here.
Oh, cool. I love that. Yeah, no, I've made it big. Yeah.
We're doing like planetary vibe. So I've yet to draw this one, but I feel like we'll draw that on camera together. This has got to be workshopped. It's a little bit ugly, but it's just, a couple stars, like star cluster. And then we've got a smiley planet with like satellites. So I drew it by hand just before our catch up, and I took a photo. I love, what is it, Adobe Capture, which is an app on the phone. It's free to use. What you do is you click the photo portion, and it takes a photo of whatever you've got and turns it into a vector. So I wonder if I can show you like that. Can you see that or not really?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's
okay,
working.
cool.
That's
so then when you press the camera button, it takes a photo, creates it into a vector, which I've already done, and you'll see on my screen when you go to the libraries tab, it is here, and then you can just drop it in. Boom.
Nice.
Looks pixelated, but
no scanner required.
No scanner required, which is so good because that's what I used to do back in the day. And then I'm just going to select out this as its own layer, and I'm going to select out this one as its own as well because they're going to be two separate animations, and then I'm just going to delete that one and that as well. So let's close that for now, and let's enlarge this one to the size. I like to maximize the size in the canvas as well, because otherwise it can show up tiny as a GIF. Do you understand what I mean? Because if you max out the size, then it gets put down. I guess they have a standard size that they drop the stickers in on the screen, like whenever you're working. So as long as you maximize your tile, you're good to go. So we've got this, but we want moving parts. So I want this moon to be moving around this smiley, and I want the star to be moving as well. So I'm just going to grab my pen with the lasso tool and select it out so it's its own layer. Layer by cut, moon.
Nice. Layer by cut. It's such a good thing. If you guys didn't know that, such a time saver.
Really? People don't know that? I feel like that's the most basic tool. I'm like a dum-dum when it comes to tech things. So like I'm the most basic with it. So we did it again with the lasso tool, layer by cut. So you'll see now these are all separate. And now we just got to smooth them out a bit. I'm not really liking how wobbly this circle line is. So I'm just going to go in with the shape tool. And I feel like the line width, the stroke width 33 is probably a bit big, but let's just see. Yeah, that's ugly. So let's do maybe 13. Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
how good am I?
That was
You know
great.
what I mean? I'm amazing. And then we'll just shrink it to this size. Is that about it? I feel like maybe a little bit smaller would be good. Yeah, like that. And then I'm just going to rasterize that so we can do whatever we want with it in a bit. And I'm just going to rub out with the eraser tool the previous layer from there. Cool. Cute. And now it's also a whole circle, which is good because we're going to be having the satellites moving around it and we want a whole circle in there. I feel like, oh no, it's just a smudge on my screen. I might neaten up this smile a bit and then we'll get into coloring and whatnot.
That's cool.
I actually,
like, when you're doing the sketching, so just a question about the sketching process, because you cut out the star and the planet. Would you ever like draw them separately because you know they're going to be separate elements, or do you like to get the composition and then you're just like, I can just do things quickly from here?
Yeah, for me it's easier to just know where it's going to sit first.
Yeah.
Just so I know, because then I can map in my head how it's going to move and what it'll look like. Whereas if I drew them as separate elements, I think it's more difficult for me to kind of sort them out on the screen. Something about paper and drawing directly on paper helps me a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I wasn't born into computers, you know what I mean? It's a different story now. Kids are born into this age of Instagram and TikTok and Instagram.
With the TikTok
YouTube,
and the Instagrams.
Yeah, all these fandangled new things, gadgets and gizmos. So yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but yeah, I like to draw things out. But sometimes, not always, but most of the time, yeah, the composition. But either or. I just smoothing this out a little bit, and then we'll actually get to coloring and doing the what would you call it, the frames for the GIF. So the way that I do it, the GIFs in Photoshop, is I create separate frames, save them as PNG so that they have no background. That way, as a sticker, they'll go on the screen as just the image with no kind of black or white square behind it.
That's the format you need to have a transparent background.
Yeah, so PNG, and then you, I'll show you in a bit, you save it as a GIF. And then if you save the PNG frames as a GIF, no background. Love it. Gorgeous. Nice. So look, I'm kind of smoothing this out. I feel like what's the clock saying? I don't want to spend too much time on this part, but I also don't want it to be ugly.
It's hard to say. We're probably at 15. We probably have about 30 minutes.
Okay,
to
look,
go.
I can make that work. That's
25,
easy.
30, something like that. And we always have part 2. So ladies and gentlemen, we have part 2 on Thursday as well. So whatever we don't get done here, we can pick up there. So
we can carry it there. And this is pretty simple as well. It's just when you're doing it for an audience, something about, I don't know, you just work stupid.
Always. You second guess yourself a bit as well. You're like, is this how? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Is this how I would do it? Would I have actually done it this way if I was by myself?
I even
why
find
isn't this working for some reason? I've done this a million times.
And that is why I took the photo already in CapShot and uploaded it to libraries, because I know that when we've done it in the past, for some reason it's like, oh yeah, of course, now that we're recording, it's not working, and it doesn't look great when that happens. But yeah, so I just thought best to get ahead of it and do it ahead of time.
It's smart. It happens all the time with streaming. Something that has worked, all day or for months for a creator, and then they'll come on and they're like, I have no idea why this isn't working.
And then you kind of got to figure it out against the clock. It's just
on the
so
fly.
Nerve-wracking.
It adds stress.
Crazy.
For sure.
So right now I'm just neatening up this star and also thinking about it. It's going to be a pretty small, what do you call it? Oh God, my words today. That concept really beat out a few of my brain cells. It's a small element in the image. So the more black you've got going on, the more like thick and nasty it's going to look in the GIF because it doesn't have that much of a high resolution. So I just like to make it look as clean and neat as possible. And then that way it's going to give it the best resolution. A lot of people don't care that much, but I like to make sure they look nice and neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you going to say, sorry?
I was just going to ask, like, I assume that, you know, because we're working quite big on this screen, but everything's going to be scaled down. So you probably don't want to
quite
do
small
lines that are too thin and things like that. Yeah.
Not too thin, not too thick. Just right, I feel.
Just right.
Like Goldilocks said. All right, this moon. So the star's good. I feel like the smiley's pretty much as good as it's going to get. Oh,
I like the eyes on the smiley.
I want it. So as I mentioned, this is for a client, and I actually did like regular eyes, you know, just like little oval ones. And they were like, "Can we get something a little less generic?" So I just used the liquefy tool and pushed the eyes out a little bit. Like, is this different now? It kind of gives me like the 50s Disney eyes. Do you know what I mean? I swear we can't make a departure and look at that right now. Probably
I know
not.
what you mean. It's kind of like it actually has a particular style name, and
does it?
A lot of I can't remember what it is though. A lot of people these days might call it Cuphead style. Because there's a game that's super popular called Cuphead, but that's
isn't it a movie as well? Like I swear they made a movie or a TV show. I'm pretty sure they did. So that's what they've called it now, as opposed to like the name of the artist who originally did it. That's a shame. Cuphead's getting all the glory. All right. Whatever.
Has anyone played Cuphead before? Throw it in chat. It's not my genre of game. I think it's a side scroller, but
oh really?
It's super popular.
Oh, I just realized I'm in CMYK mode for color, so I'm just gonna go RGB, seeing as this is for digital anyways. So we want as bright as we can. And those of you who know printing and whatnot, CMYK is when you're printing something with ink, but RGB we can use for anything digital. And it's oops, I gotta select the inverse.
I think someone may have mentioned it, but also, I've found it. Rubber hose animation, it is called. That's what cartoons look like from around the 1920s to late 1930s.
Yeah, 1920s to 1930s. Okay, cool. Good to know.
There you go.
So I'm just coloring this guy in. So we did typical yellow. I feel like that's a little bit too neon though. Let's add some. I'm just going to color balance and give it a bit of red, I think. And then maybe, is that even doing anything? Why are we still in? Oh, RGB. I don't want to be in sliders. I want to be in RGB spectrum. Wait. Brightness cube, hue cube. That's what I like. Okay, that's where we want to be. We want this yellow. All right, so we're going to change this. Way too bright. Don't like it. More of an orangey kind of yellow. Gorgy. And then we're going to do some shading. So the way I'm just going to do this is I'm going to color it orange. And then with the eraser tool, I'm going to make it 0 hardness and like larger size. So we're going to go up, 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 up. What's happening? Bro. Bigger. We want something like.
It's gonna be huge.
Like this, and then we're just gonna act like this is a point source of light.
Oh, cool! That was like a really quick way to do like a 3D effect.
Yeah, exactly. Very quick. Love it. I'm merging those now, and I feel like because I filled inside the square, I feel like there'll probably be a little bit of yellow pixels that we can't see, but they'll be on the outside. You can see that. Is the resolution good? You can see that. Yep. So we want to get rid of that so that the edge is black, because when we create the GIF, it will show that really, really obviously.
Right. Okay. So you got to do a little bit of cleanup. You want to try to, because it's about like the colors, right? Like when you're exporting, you want to keep the colors kind of minimal. We'll keep the file size small, and I imagine there's some limitations in terms of how long the GIFs could be and how the file size, I would imagine, versus quality.
Yeah, so it's not so much about length, really. I don't think, like, I've done like 40 frame GIFs before, and it's been just as fine as like my 2 frame GIFs, but it's just about how many colors you're using more so, I think. And also like the size of the canvas. Select inverse. I got to do that again. Chatting and working, eh? All right, so coloring in the star, nice and easy. And then I'm just going to clean up the edge again. That is ugly. And I just realized now there's parts that I didn't rub out properly. So I'm just going to go over them with the paintbrush and cover that.
Oh, so you're getting a little bit closer and you can see there's a couple of little bits and pieces.
Like, honestly, it's not that important, but I'm just anal as hell. Just like this, just a bit of that, just a bit of that.
Yeah, because as we were saying before, it's like very, very big now. It's going to be scaled down so much that you probably won't notice it, but
it'll be this size.
Right.
Now that I'm looking at that, I kind of want the circle to be a bit bigger, actually. I wonder if, so I'm just going to do this, select inverse, and then I'll create a layer underneath the circle. And I'm going to say select, modify, expand, 22. That's a bit too much. Let's do 11. Select, modify, expand, 11. And then I'm just going to get the black brush and just add it. Is that
That's really great. So correct me if I'm wrong, but so you've just like, that's a really great way to create like an outline from a shape. So you've selected exactly the outside of the circle, and then by modifying it, you can increase the distance away from that. So it's really great, like when you're making like actual stickers, or you have something where you need a bit of a bleed or something like that, or any kind of outline. It's a really cool trick.
Thank you. And I feel like I do it on the layer underneath, so that, because like if I did it on this layer, the black fill would have just gone over the image. Let's see, it's underneath, and then I'll just merge it once it's good. But I can see now, look, there were pixels that I left out earlier from when I changed the color. Cool, it's all good now. And I feel like that is more the kind of thickness I would want. Yeah, I might just increase the thickness on the star as well. So we're gonna select inverse and then create a layer underneath. Modify, expand, I'm thinking like 4. Yeah, that's good. And then cool. All right, now we've got to get to the moon. We're gonna make this guy to the moon, baby.
How appropriate.
Yes. Select inverse again. Fill. Did I select inverse? I don't think I did, actually. Let's see. Yep, forgot again. And we've got color this one in, and then merge them. And then we're going to create a layer underneath. Expand that. Select, modify, expand. Look, honestly, 4 was a bit much, so maybe 3. Color that in. Yes.
I love this little asteroid.
He's a bit ugly.
It's really cute.
He's misshapen. He's not perfect. That's why. He's spunky. All right. I feel like that's cool. Yeah, he's got character. He's been around. He's smashed into things.
He's been around.
Yeah. All right. So this is what I want. I'm going to do some axes as well. So we're going to get the shapes tool. We're going to, no fill, which is great. I'm going to select a color, something cute, like pink maybe. And then we're going to do an ellipse like this-ish. And let's see, free transform path, and just kind of move it around our smiley to the point where it kind of looks like it's floating around him. I feel like that's good. So we're going to, maybe we need it a bit thicker. I'm going to go 18 or maybe 15. Nah, 18's good. 18? Yeah, 18. All right, we're going to rasterize, and we are going to duplicate, because I'm going to give the star an orbit as well. Free transform, flip horizontal, and then we're just going to move the star so it's on that axis, and then we're going to make this make sense.
Okay, cool. Is this like a guide that you're kind of setting up for yourself?
It's a guide, but I'm actually going to have it as a bit, so I will be able to use it so that it looks like they're smoothly rotating around. But it's also going to be part of the image as well.
Awesome.
Now, I'll show you how it's not crazy what I'm doing. So we'll just isolate. So if we're looking at this and the smiley's a planet, this is the front here and this is the back. So we're going to delete this because it's part of the image. Whereas if I was just using it as a guide, it wouldn't matter. I just noticed there's another little part I missed here on the smiley. There we go. Cool. So orbit, you feel me?
Yeah.
Second orbit now. We're going to do the same thing. And I'm so obsessed with planets as well, and like outer space. Ever since I was a kid, it's like, I'm sure I'm an alien or something, because I've been obsessed with black holes and stars and galaxies and planets ever since I was like 3 years old.
Did you see the new telescope and all the...
Yes, I have. It's amazing. Like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really great. I've got them all saved to my camera. So I think this is going to be static to the smiley, the orbit. So I'm just going to merge them. Oh, no, I won't. I don't want to do that. Okay. So this will be our first frame. So we're going to save as frame 1, F001. Oh no, we got to merge them so it saves it as a JPEG, PNG. All right.
Right.
Save as PNG, and then make sure that you label each frame correctly so that when you load them in to the stack, they show up in order. Otherwise, it can get a bit confusing if you haven't named them properly, and it can get messy. So that's frame 1. And the important thing as well, depending on your system, when it's frame 1, do 01 or 001, because otherwise it could read a 1 and a 10 as the same thing, and it'll be like 1, 10, then 2, then 3.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So zeros first. Save. Okay. And then undo. And now we're just going to move this guy along a little bit and the star along a little bit. And we're just going to hope that this looks fluid enough when we create our GIF, which we will see shortly. So this is FF02. And then I've just unmerged again, and we're going to do it again. And
do you know how many frames this will ultimately be?
No, but I'm thinking maybe, maybe like 10 or something. I mean, maybe I should do less fluid movements. Like, so obviously the closer, so say for each frame, the closer the moon is to each next frame, the quicker you'd have to have each frame viewing for, but it will show more of a smooth kind of motion. But the further apart you do it, which is kind of the cheap, easy way because it's less frames, the more kind of glitchy it's going to be. But that doesn't really matter because it's for it's for stickers anyway. It's not a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's like a style as well in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like those 2D ones that you showed, that 2D, the 2-frame ones that you showed are really cool. Like they have quite a lot of personality, even just kind of switching from one to the other. And they're super cool in its own right.
Yeah, and they're like max effect, minimal effort, really.
Yeah.
But
I can save you a click in here. When there's a pop-up that asks you if you want to save to the cloud.
Please. Yes, that's so
annoying. When that pops up, there's a little button you can click so it doesn't pop up again if you don't want to do that.
Is that true though? Because I swear I've done that before and it pops up still.
If it pops up again, it's probably after you've updated it.
That makes sense.
Update it might like refresh in a way that maybe you've changed your mind.
I feel you. Did I move that moon yet? Let's see. Let's have a look
at our moon. Oh, there we are.
We'll see. The moon was just on the eye. So yeah, he has moved. Okay, cool. So this is frame 5. How much time we got on the clock?
Oh, that's all right. We'll do it next time. I'd say we got about maybe 8 minutes or so for today.
All right.
We should be able to finish this one off, I think, and then look at the GIF, I would say.
Okay, because we can get out certain parts, right?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yep.
Do you reckon we'll have enough time for all this movement that I've done, or we can just...
Yeah, we'll just go for another 5 minutes and then, and we can do the part 2. We can just pick up kind of wherever we get to.
Okay, gorgeous. So I've moved the star anyway, but I've hidden it because he's behind the smiley. Right. Just to give that realistic effect. So this is frame 6. And then...
So you want to keep moving it because you want to know where it's going to be when it emerges again. So even though it's not shown. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be there. And then we'll just hide her. File, save as. And then the other ones that we do will be way more simple than this one. This one's the most fiddly, I guess, out of all of them. I think we'll just do 2-frame ones for the other ones.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be cool to show the 2-frame as well. Like good introduction one.
Would you say you'd prefer to do that one first rather than this one?
No, not at all. It's cool to show. Cool to show both. All GIF creation is welcome here on Adobe Live.
All GIFs are created equal.
Yeah.
So we're just doing a little emerging star. So I've duplicated the star just to, gorgeous. Oh, but we want this halo, this thing to go in front of it as well. So I'm just going to delete that with a rubber eraser.
All right, you want the star to appear to be in front of the...
Behind this orbit, I think.
Or behind it.
So we're just going to do a bit of that. I think so. Oh no, that's too thick. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, gorge.
It's like subtle, but it will give it a lot of depth at the end.
I hope so. Sometimes you think you're doing it like really well, and then when you put it together in a GIF, you're like, oh, okay, I actually did way more work than I had to.
Right.
I figured that out when I did these blinking eyes for something that I was doing with faces, and I was doing like I think open, semi, like one middle kind of frame that was in between, and then the close, and I did it fast. I was like, yeah, it looks a bit weird though, and then I just tried like a simple open and then closed, and just really quick, and it worked way better, way more natural.
Right, right. I guess because it's a very quick action anyway, so faster was probably, yeah.
Faster was best. Select inverse, delete, star.
left.
Yeah, we want to do it like that. Yeah, cute.
I had to think about it as well for a sec. Wait.
I appreciate that. Thanks for the help.
That's right. I got
was
you
like-
back.
Yeah, love that. It was like last night when we got home from the gig. My boyfriend was in. I was getting out of the shower. My boyfriend was getting in, and we both had our towels hanging up on the same place. And I glitched for a sec, and I was like, "Oh no, which one's mine?" And it's like a gentle reminder. He just tapped it, like, "That's your one." And those gentle reminders, I love them because it's like it makes me feel less at fault for forgetting something. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, it's human. Sometimes you forget to just be human, you know?
Absolutely.
Or that you're human like everyone else and we all make mistakes.
Well, we've established that you're an alien, but I get what you mean.
Okay, so I'm just using this now as a guide to see where I'm putting the moon that we will be seeing. So he'll go there. You can get lost and you'll be hidden. This gal can go, and then the star. Oh my God, there's going to be so many frames. File, save as. I reckon we've got like 5 maybe more frames and then we're done with this. Is that too long?
Yeah, we'll probably run out of time in a minute or so. So maybe we could wrap up for today's stream and then we can show kind of the final.
I wonder, so maybe I'll just show how we load it into Stack. I'll say, we're not done here, but I just want to show you how we will do it. I'll do the rest of the frames in my own time, and then we'll move on to the next GIF tomorrow.
Cool. Yep, sounds great.
Do you want to do that? Okay, so, all right, so as it stands, we probably have about 6 more frames to do, which we don't have time for. So I'm just going to show you how we would create this as an animation, and I can just do the extra frames in my own time. And then tomorrow we can start on the next one, which will just be 2 frames, so much easier. So we go scripts, load files into Stack, and then we browse. And we've got our selection here, F001 all the way to F010. Okay, it'll load them in order. This is a new file. Let it all load in.
Doing a little dance.
Time for a coffee break. TikTok. I actually haven't updated my computer in like 2 months, so
Bianca.
She's been working. I know, it's me. I always do that. And I don't back up my anything. It's horrible. All right, so these are all the frames all synced over each other. I can see that my movements have not been that consistent, so let's hope that it doesn't show in the animation, but we'll see. So we click on window, then we scroll down to timeline, and then create video timeline, and we go for it. Now I'm just going to toggle this down so it minimizes them, and then I just put them in order of how we want them to play, because sometimes if we played that, it would just play them all together.
Right.
So we want to show that there's a sequence.
This is really easy because it's just step by step, one after the other. You've labeled them so you know they're all in the right spot.
Yeah, there no checking. I don't need to check because they're all labeled in the right order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then so now they're all displaying in the right order all the way up to 10. And I'm going to click this tiny little 3 boxes together. And that's going to show each frame side by side. So if we press play, we're not going to do it now because each frame is set to 5 seconds. We want more like maybe 0.2, maybe 0.1. It'll probably be 0.1 actually. Let's just try 2 for a second.
Can you select them all to change?
Good question. No, you can't. Oh, you might be.
Sure, I think you can.
And then what? Right click?
And then right click and change, can you?
Nah, it's only do not dispose and dispose. Maybe someone else knows a quick trick.
I swear I've done that before. I changed them all at one time.
Yeah, you. Oh, good on you. All right, thanks for that, Flynn. You just saved me mad time. Cool. So it's working. And I saved one with a background, so one must have been saved as a JPEG accidentally. But
I think
you get the
because you
idea.
did a new Photoshop file, there's a background locked white layer in your layers.
No, look. It's a PNG, but it's showing with the background. So I'll have to figure that out tomorrow. But Obviously, this, what do you call it? And the ellipse movement isn't completely finished, but you can see that it's basically nice and cute. Looks great. So once I finish that in my own time, you guys will see tomorrow when it's finished.
Yes, awesome. Well, that's great. That's so cool. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, how to create animated gift stickers. We'll be back on Thursday with part 2. We'll do some more. Maybe we'll do some 2-frame ones.
Nice and easy. And then I'll show how we upload it to Giphy with the tags and whatnot, and how that all gets basically uploaded into the ether for use.
Amazing. So yeah, we'll cover exporting and then uploading. So yeah, you can follow the steps, create your own GIF stickers for Instagram and Giphy and all that sort of stuff. That's amazing. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you everyone for watching. And we'll catch you in the next Adobe Live. Bye.
Bye.